The Elder Scrolls 6 just got some more hints pointing towards the upcoming game's location, and could even point to the exact region in Tamriel this game will take place. I'm also going to go over some of Todd Howard's plans to get games out quicker in their different franchises, the Elder Scrolls 6 possibly being playable at the studio right now, and even the release date of the Elder Scrolls 6. But before we get into it, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with all the latest Elder Scrolls news. The Elder Scrolls 6 was officially announced by Bethesda Game Studios for the first time back at E3 2018, and since then we have waited around with very little information coming from the studio about this highly anticipated game. But since this 37-second trailer was released, many fans of the Elder Scrolls series have been speculating about the setting of this game and have even tried to figure out exactly where in Tamriel this game will take place. The two locations that I've seen thrown around the most are Hammerfell and High Rock, which are located in the northwest of the Tamriel world map. These two locations in the Elder Scrolls universe have also appeared in the Elder Scrolls Arena, the Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall, and the Elder Scrolls Online. Recently, these theories about the game's location were further strengthened after a Bethesda Game Studios developer accidentally shared some hints online that could possibly point to Hammerfell being the game's main setting. This developer is a senior concept illustrator at Bethesda Game Studios, and they've also worked at the company since 2008, which was 3 years before Skyrim was originally released. The hints that were shared online were in the form of images, and they were saved to this developer's Pinterest board. And after these were discovered and shared in a Reddit post online, many people assumed that these images were being used as inspiration for outfits, weapons, landscapes, and other art for the Elder Scrolls 6. The reason for these assumptions is that the images saved to the board all had a very similar theme, and they were around North Africa, Moorish, and Middle Eastern cultures. These are the exact aesthetics for the region of Hammerfell and the Redguards in the Elder Scrolls series. The speculation around these images furthers the theory that many fans hold about this game's setting. Many fans, including myself, believe that this further strengthens the theory that Hammerfell will indeed be the main setting for the Elder Scrolls 6. Also, after this Pinterest page garnered a lot of attention online from the original Reddit post that first shared them, the Bethesda employee made this account and the boards private, and this could indicate that these are actually being used as inspiration for the highly anticipated fantasy RPG. We will probably not know the actual setting for the Elder Scrolls 6 for several more years, since the game is not really even close to releasing just yet, but I will get further into the game's release date later in this video. But the setting for the Elder Scrolls 6 does seem to be nailed down, at least many of us think so. While it's true that we could be very wrong about the setting, I personally think that Hammerfell could be a great location for the Elder Scrolls 6, and would definitely be quite the change from Skyrim with its snowy landscapes. Let me know down in the comments what you think about Hammerfell possibly being the setting for the Elder Scrolls 6. Do you think it's likely, or will it be somewhere else? Todd Howard, director and executive producer at Bethesda Game Studios, recently shared some insight into the company's future plans during an interview with Kinda Funny Games. The discussion centered around Bethesda's efforts to accelerate the development of its major game franchises, The Elder Scrolls and Fallout. This revelation comes amidst growing anticipation for the next entries in these iconic game series. At this point in time, it's been 8 years since the release of Fallout 4 and 12 years since the release of The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. While of course Bethesda has not been idle at all with the launch of Fallout 76 in 2018, even though it was a multiplayer game, and the release of Starfield, their new single-player IP, back in 2023, fans have expressed some impatience with new single-player releases from some of their major franchises. The prolonged development cycles have left many fans out there wondering just how long they will actually have to wait for the new installments of their favorite game series. Honestly, it's getting way too long at this point. But the good news for fans is that The Elder Scrolls 6 is currently in development, however details remain scarce, limited to a teaser trailer released in 2018. As for Fallout 5, there is even less information about this game at the moment. Bethesda have also cautioned that creating great games takes time, which has only fueled the anticipation and anxiety among fans. In this recent interview with Todd Howard, he addressed some of these concerns, acknowledging the lengthy development times for their games. He also expressed a shared desire within Bethesda Game Studios to increase their output, ensuring that fans don't have to wait as long for new games. Howard also emphasized the importance of maintaining high quality while finding ways to speed up their production. "We want to make sure we get it right," he said. Even with these intentions though, Howard acknowledged that significant releases like The Elder Scrolls 6 are not expected for a few years at this point. This would mark a big gap between Skyrim and its sequel, possibly 15 to 17 years between the two releases. If this pace continues for their upcoming releases, subsequent entries in these video game series could span up to decades, a daunting prospect for fans eager for new content from their favorite video game franchises. Todd Howard's recent comments provide a bit of a glimmer of hope for some fans out there of the Elder Scrolls and Fallout franchises. While it's true the development cycles for these games are undeniably long, Bethesda look to be actively seeking ways to accelerate their process without compromising quality. As the gaming community eagerly awaits the next adventures in Tamriel and the post-apocalyptic wastelands of the Fallout series, Howard's vision offers reassurance that Bethesda shares their impatience and commitment to delivering exceptional experiences in the future. Let me know down in the comments what you think about the wait times for Bethesda's games, and their want to up the output of their game releases going forward. The gaming community has been eagerly awaiting any news that they can get at this time on the Elder Scrolls 6 since it was first announced back in June of 2018, and relative radio silence from Bethesda since then. There has been some light shed on the game's release timeline and platform availability, sparking significant discussions online. In the landmark acquisition, Microsoft paid $7.5 billion to buy ZeniMax Media, the parent company of Bethesda Game Studios. This move was largely expected to bring substantial changes to the availability of future Bethesda titles, including the Elder Scrolls 6. Documents from Microsoft's legal case with the FTC have confirmed that the Elder Scrolls 6 will not be available on PlayStation consoles. Instead, it will be available exclusively to Xbox and PC. This revelation aligns with Microsoft's strategy to prioritize its own platforms following the acquisition of ZeniMax Media. But of course, this will be just on release. Recently, Xbox has taken to releasing some of their other games on other platforms like Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 5. So who knows, 6 months to a year after this game is released on Xbox and PC, it could possibly come to more consoles. That could still happen with Starfield at this point, we haven't seen it yet, but it's definitely a possibility. A document obtained by Steven Totillo highlights a breakdown of games and their supported platforms. It lists the Elder Scrolls 6 as in development exclusively for Xbox and PC, but who knows, that could change after release like I just said. Additionally, the game is expected to be released in 2026 at the very earliest, and will not feature multiplayer support. Bethesda has also confirmed that the Elder Scrolls 6 is obviously now in full production and development after the release of Starfield in September of 2023, moving past years of pre-production for the Elder Scrolls 6. However, the game is not expected to be released until 2026 at the very earliest. This extended timeline has been a point of frustration and anticipation for fans of the Elder Scrolls series who've not had an official single-player release in years. 2026 is the earliest we could expect the game, but the current release window is projected to be between 2026 and 2028 at some point. My guess at this time is that the game could possibly fall to the later dates in that window and release at some point in 2027 or 2028. And also, with Microsoft working on new Xbox hardware at this moment, expected to launch around 2026 to 2028 as well, there is speculation that the Elder Scrolls 6 might be designed to take full advantage of this next generation of consoles. We don't know exactly yet when this will launch. We've heard that it could launch new consoles in early 2026, or even at some point in 2028 when the new generation is going to kick off with PlayStation as well. To me and others online, this all sounds very likely, but obviously it's all speculation at this point and should be taken with a giant grain of salt until it's officially announced by the game studios. And Xbox definitely could launch their next consoles in this 2026 to 2028 release window as well. But it sounds like it's very possible that the Elder Scrolls 6 will definitely be a next-gen game. After they've finally completed and released the Elder Scrolls 6 for us to play, Bethesda Game Studios plans to shift its focus fully to developing Fallout 5, which is the game I'm personally most excited for. Obviously, I love Fallout. And for Fallout 5, we really don't know when it's going to be released. My most optimistic dates put it around 2029, but that seems very far-fetched. Honestly, it probably will release sometime between 2030 and 2034. That's a very wide window, I know, but we really have no idea at this point. But this sequence of projects does highlight Bethesda's long-term commitment to its flagship franchises, despite the extended development cycles, and hopefully there are only single-player games in the near future. The confirmation that the Elder Scrolls 6 will not be available on PlayStation and its projected release window in 2026 to 2028 underscores Microsoft's strategic use of its acquisition to strengthen its platform. While it's true that fans of these franchises may face a prolonged wait, the anticipation for the Elder Scrolls 6 continues to build, promising an exciting future for Bethesda's iconic series, and it's definitely their next game to release. I cannot wait for this game. Let me know down in the comments what you think about the Elder Scrolls 6 console exclusivity and the possible release window between 2026 and 2028. The Elder Scrolls 6 is one of the most eagerly awaited video games in recent memory. Since its first announcement back at E3 2018, fans have been clamoring for more information, anything they can possibly get about this game from Bethesda Game Studios and their latest fantasy RPG. Despite the huge anticipation for this game, details remain very sparse at the moment, with Bethesda Game Studios honestly being mostly radio silent on it, with a very few teasers spread here and there about it, leaving many to speculate about its eventual release. The gaming world was set abuzz in 2018 when Bethesda unveiled The Elder Scrolls 6 with a teaser trailer at E3. Since then, there's been very little information regarding The Elder Scrolls 6 gameplay, story, platforms, or a release date. Honestly, we've been clamoring for any little bits of information we can find out there about this game. And this has also led to growing impatience among the fans, and concerns that the game might still be several years away. Honestly, I just hope that this release window of 2026 to 2028 is accurate, and we don't have to wait any longer than that. On a lighter note, this year marks the 30th anniversary of the Elder Scrolls franchise, which began back with the Elder Scrolls Arena releasing in 1994 for MS-DOS systems. The franchise has grown exponentially since then, with its last mainline entry, The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, launching back in 2011, and it still enjoys immense popularity to this day. I mean, on any given day, you can still see between 20 and 30,000 players on this game, and obviously that doesn't even count console players. And on PC at least, this is held together by the modding community who has come in droves to create new projects and content for this game. It was revealed that The Elder Scrolls 6 is technically playable at the moment at Bethesda Game Studios. This information came from a 30th anniversary celebratory post by Bethesda, indicating that early builds of the game are already in existence at the studio. This celebratory post included a line about The Elder Scrolls 6, stating, "Returning to Tamriel and playing early builds has us filled with the same joy, excitement, and promise of adventure." Bethesda has not yet committed to a release date obviously for The Elder Scrolls 6. It will be launched when the company deems it ready, and given its slow trickle of information, it's clear they are taking their time to ensure the game meets their standards. As Bethesda continues to develop this highly anticipated game, The Elder Scrolls 6, fans of the franchise will need to exercise some patience and enjoy other adventures in the meantime. Whether on current systems or next-gen platforms, the eventual release of The Elder Scrolls 6 promises to be a monumental event in the gaming world. Let me know down in the comments what you think about The Elder Scrolls 6 being in a playable state over at Bethesda. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with all the latest Elder Scrolls news. And if you're looking for something else to watch, click one of the videos you're seeing on screen right now. I will see you there.